Hey, Monique here on Conscious Creation, and this is a special video for all of you SP people out there. SP means specific person, because that's a topic that is one that I'm very proficient, I guess the word would be, at in the meantime, and that I am continuing to see massive, awesome growth in. And so I have to share this with you because I believe that part of why I am on planet Earth is to share conscious creation with everyone that's open to it. SP, specific person. Specific person can be anyone. I'm talking romance in here. And so you might be married, you might be dating, you might have multiple partners, you might be secretly in love from a distance. It doesn't matter. What matters is it is romantic, and you notice that you are creating hot and cold stuff in your outer reality. So, a little bit of backstory. I've had very interesting relationships, romantic relationships in my life, from amazing to amazingly shitty. And at one point, when I went through a horrendously painful breakup years ago, I found Neville Goddard, and from that point, my whole life changed. Because while it started out wanting to manifest my specific person at that time back into my life, everything shifted, and it wasn't about him anymore at all. And it's really funny because we're in touch, and he's actually became a pretty good friend of mine, and I'm so happy that I'm not with this person anymore, because he's so, and it doesn't matter, like, I'm happy that because of him I got to find out about Neville, Seth, Bashar. I'm not sure. Maybe I knew Abraham Hicks before. I think I knew Abraham Hicks before. But all the teachers that are giving me so much in my life and that have assisted me in creating this epic life that I'm living for myself. So, very grateful that I met this man. Very grateful now. I mean, it was fucking hard, dude, that I went through what I went through with him, because no joke, I wanted to not be on this planet anymore. I was in extreme pain. Like, it was horrendous. And a very amazing, actually, this is cool to tell you as well before I go into the rest. So what is really cool, what happened at one point, that I was so unbelievably low, and I was so focused on getting him back, not understanding that I was in a desperate state of being, and a desperate state of being can only create more desperation. Like, stuff would happen, but I wasn't coming at it from what it's actually about. I was coming at, because I was new to it, right? So I had to find out a lot of things the hard way, as most of us do when we start to work on ourselves. And we work on ourselves either for money, for work, for family. Everyone has their flavor of help, what the fuck. And mine was specific people. So at one point I was feeling extremely low. We lived together, and not anymore at that point. And I lived with a friend who had 2 dogs, and I helped her out with her dogs because she was super busy. I think she was in Africa even at that moment. And at one point I was in the park with the dogs, And I had already learned a little bit about Neville Goddard and um, how to recreate your reality, or I thought I knew, but okay, you have to start somewhere, right? And so I found myself thinking something, and the thought was this: oh my God, I hope that names of the dogs don't run into that road, because there was a road that I had never seen before, and I've been to that park many times at that point, but I'd never seen that road before. And all of a sudden I see that road and I hear myself thinking, I hope that they don't run to that road. What do you think happened? The instant I thought it, zoom, off they went. And I panicked. But this is interesting because I was super speedy, and you might know like how you, when shit's really up, how your brain thinks really quickly, like in minus time almost. So that happened. I called them back and my brain went, oh my God, there's an opening in the universe at the moment. What I think instantly manifests. And I said to myself, so and so, my then partner, calls me, because I thought I have this opening and I can get that in. And you know how your thoughts go really quick, right? Because me telling this to you took me, I don't know, a minute, but the thought was a second, maybe even less. That night, I had turned my phone off. That day, I felt the lowest of low, like the lowest of low. And I'm a bit ashamed to say this, but I literally thought, I don't care if I die today. That's how low I was. And so from the time in between that I felt so extremely low and the park was about, 6 hours difference. I don't know how, but I got myself to a yoga class that evening, which is interesting, right? When you feel so low and depressed, that I still had the wherewithal to get myself to a yoga class. I went to the yoga class, I came back home, and it was the first time since our breakup that I decided to turn off the phone. I wake up, I turn on my phone, and I had a missed call of that partner. And I went into shock. I was like, and so I started shaking uncontrollably. I went to the bathroom before I did anything. I called him back. He answers and he says, hey, I'm so sorry. You won't believe this, but yesterday I was sitting on the couch and I had my phone in my hand and my phone started to call you. I didn't do anything. And my stomach dropped because I thought, he calls because he wants to get back to me, right? And he tells me this. So I was devastated for a moment. And then I realized, oh my God, this stuff really works. And it might have been my savior, because from that point on, I didn't feel so depressed anymore, and I didn't feel like I wanted to check out of this world. I had a new resolve, and I knew, oh my God, this works. I just have to work harder. So this is a while ago. In the meantime, so much has happened. So many new men have passed a review. Can you say that in English as well? Because that's what you say in Dutch. But so many other men have been on the stage of my life, and some nice ones, some not so nice ones, blah blah blah. And all of them, there was always something going on that either I didn't like them or they reflected that I had work to do. Well, both actually, because if I didn't like them, there's also work to do on myself. Or they reflected back to me that I wasn't feeling whole and complete in some kind of way. So, long story short, because I'm writing about this, because I believe that I found the recipe to getting rid of this shit once and for all. It works for me, and I know if it works for me, that it also worked for someone else. And as soon as it's finished, you will hear about it. And I don't know yet if it's going to be a paid version or a free version, or I might make a course out of it. I don't know yet. But I do know that I wish that this was there when I was starting out. In any case, now what I have learned after I met a really amazing man in the beginning of my New Zealand journey, who has assisted me, or I have manifested him to assist me through all of the turmoil and all of the shit that I have never looked at before. And it was even so amazing that this man was always there for me, and I've cried my guts out. At one point, I thought, how is this even possible that he is still present with me and giving me all of this love and attention, and not going crazy and saying, hey, ciao, I never want to talk to you again. So it is possible. It is possible to find someone to help you move through stuff with. So it ended with him. That's a story for another time. And then I met someone else on the same day that I ended things with this person, which is mind-blowing to me because I have never experienced that before. It was at a New Year's festival, and I went there, didn't know anyone, and I just thought, I felt so happy and free and secure, and I was so freaking proud of myself that I had said to the other guy, I can't do this anymore because it hurts me too much. And the reason why it hurt me so much is also for another video. But in the end, it boiled down to me trying to push and shove things along instead of what we know is how this stuff works, instead of going within and assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. I was continuously trying to push things along in 3D. And that's exactly what Neville says not to do. And I know this by now. What the fuck was I doing? But that goes to show I am extremely good at trusting the universe in all aspects. And when it comes to romance, I still have a blind spot here and there, which is a belief, and it's a belief that I'm letting go of. And it's also my experience at the moment because it's a belief. So the current man, an amazing, extremely sexy, very funny man that is, well, I don't know to a T, but at least enough off the list of what I'd like in a person, is showing me some very interesting reflections. And so what is really cool is that every time I step out of trying to push things along, trying to make things happen, and I revert and turn to what I know to be true, things shift. Sometimes it's instant, sometimes it takes a while. And all of this to say, if you are having specific person shit happening, because it is shit, right? There's nothing, or maybe like in my experience, there's nothing so painful as when your specific person is behaving in a way that is not really something you'd like to experience. And so, when you are also of the group of people that has specific person stuff going on, the only thing you have to do, and this is the only thing you have to do, is leave the person alone. Leave the world alone. This is literally what Neville says. And focus on you. Because everyone is you pushed out. Everyone is me pushed out. And it doesn't matter what they did, what they said, what they didn't do, what they didn't say. Circumstances don't matter, as Bashar says. Only state of being matters. Now to the topic of boundaries, because that's somewhere where I sometimes still also do stuff in the 3D with boundaries. Do not do anything with boundaries until you know you are in the right state of being. Because the state of being is the one that gives the reflection of the thoughts, the actions, the behaviors, the emotions. You know, when you feel super down and out, your thoughts are completely different than when you feel lighthearted and upbeat. And that's a state of being. And when you feel shit because something happened, teach yourself that you do not behave, act, do anything from that state of being. Leave everything alone. And the next day, or maybe in a few days, you still feel something in your body, yes, then you can definitely get in touch with them to set a boundary for yourself. And also, that's a whole art in and of itself, right? But when you are in the state of being, in the right state of being, that is the one of I love myself, I respect myself, and I am the most important person of my life. From that state of being, you will always write something that is also respectful to them. Because people who respect themselves are respectful to others. And when you see disrespect or unkindness or whatever, it's a reflection of something that needs to be changed within yourself, because there's nothing to change but self. There's no blame, there's no shame, there's only information. Let the world tell you who you are, and use this information, use the information of the reflection of the person to do something with yourself and to yourself. And also know this, trust that this is possible for you. Let go of any timing and any circumstance, completely let go of it, and completely let go of them. Because they always conform. Promise, hands down, always. The circumstances do not matter. And I can tell you this from experience. I've had a lot of interesting circumstances, not only with this person, but also with the person before, and also with the person before that, and also with the person before. So it doesn't matter. There will always be circumstances. We are being asked, who are we being? Who are we being? Who are we? So it's always between you and you. Okay, I think I made my point by now. If you have any questions, put them in the description. If you don't want to ask your questions publicly, then send me an email. Not the description, the comments. How you can reach me is in the description. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. A fit mind creates a beautiful body and an epic life, and also a pretty awesome relationship. And you don't have to be perfect. Like, God knows I'm not perfect. And He knows as well, and I know as well, and I don't have to be perfect. The only thing that I have to be is self-loving, self-respecting, and trusting in the timing of all of it. Because I am, you are, we are God's children. All that is children. The universe is children. And all it wants for us is to have an epic life experience. And this is my cue to check out. Talk to you soon. Ciao.